So, you're thinking about importing products, right? You've probably figured out the single biggest challenge, actually finding a real factory. The whole path is just littered with middlemen and brokers who can absolutely drain your profits. In this explainer, we're going to go full detective mode and learn how to separate the real deal from the costly fakes.
This right here is the #1 question you have to answer. Is the supplier you're talking to a genuine manufacturer, or are they just a costly imposter? Because let me tell you, if you get this wrong, it can sink your entire business before you even get off the ground. Okay, let's be super clear about what's at stake. On one hand, you've got a real factory. That means you get the best price, you get total control over customizing your product, and you have a direct line to quality control. But on the other hand, a trading company. You're paying more, your options are way more limited, and trying to manage quality becomes this frustrating game of telephone. No thanks.
And that brings us to the core of this whole thing, the middleman problem. Seriously, if you want to win in the importing game, going direct is pretty much the only way to do it. Let's break down exactly why that is. There are 4 huge advantages to cutting out that middleman. First, and this is the obvious one, better pricing. You're not paying their markup. Second, product customization. You're literally talking to the people who are making your stuff. Third, you get direct quality control. And finally, and this one's huge, you can build a real long-term partnership that helps you grow your business for years to come. So you're sold on going direct. Awesome. But where on earth do you even start looking? Right, let's move on and check out the top 3 hunting grounds where you can start your investigation.
Okay, think of this table as your detective's field guide. You've got Alibaba, which is the big one. It's got a massive selection and some nice features like verified suppliers. But, and this is a big but, it is still crawling with middlemen. Then there's 168.com. Prices there are often way lower, but you got to be ready to navigate a language barrier. And finally, you have trade shows, the gold standard for looking someone in the eye and shaking their hand, but that of course means you've got to invest in travel.
Okay, so once you have a promising lead, it's time to interrogate your suspect. We're about to arm you with your very own verification toolkit. 3 absolutely essential forensic techniques to make sure you're really dealing with a factory. Here it is, your 3-step process. It looks simple, but trust me, it is incredibly powerful. First, you check their paperwork. We're talking official certifications. Second, you demand a site visit to see the operation for yourself. And third, you analyze the numbers, because pricing always tells a story. Let's dig into that crucial evidence. You see, legitimate factories have a paper trail. You're looking for things like an ISO 9001 certification. That basically means they have a solid quality management system. Selling in Europe, you'll need to see that CE certification for safety. And for tons of products in the US, FDA certification is an absolute must-have. Now listen up, because this is so important. Whatever you do, don't just take their word for it or accept some PDF they email you. A real pro takes that certification number and verifies it themselves directly with the organization that issued it. It's the only way to be 100% sure it's not a fake or expired. Here's a really simple truth. A genuine manufacturer is proud of their operation. They want to show it to you. If you can't go in person, demand a live video tour. Or even better, hire a third-party inspector to audit them for you. If they hesitate or make excuses, that is a massive red flag. And speaking of red flags, let's shift gears. We need to look at the clear telltale signs that tell you your suspect is probably an imposter. Knowing these will save you a world of pain. Red flag number 1 is probably the most obvious. If they refuse to give you a factory address, it's because they don't have one. A trading company's whole business relies on hiding their sources from you. So if they won't give you an address, it's an immediate deal breaker. End of story.
Red flag number 2, no paper trail. We just talked about the crucial evidence you need to look for. If a supplier can't show you these basic industry certifications, it's a really strong sign they aren't a legitimate manufacturer.
Okay, let's talk about being flexible. A real factory? Well, they control the production line. That means they can usually negotiate on price and on the minimum order quantity, or MOQ. A trading company? They can't. They're just a go-between, and they have rigid terms because they're just passing along prices from the actual factory. And finally, please be wary of that deal that just seems too good to be true, because it probably is. An unrealistically low price usually means one of 2 things. Either the quality is dangerously bad, or it's an outright scam. Proper manufacturing costs real money. There are no magic shortcuts.
All right, we've covered a ton of theory. Now let's see how all these techniques actually play out in the real world.
we'll look at a quick case study that shows you exactly how to crack the code and become a sourcing pro. So let's meet John. He needed a factory for some new Bluetooth headphones. First, he did his research. He used the manufacturer filter on Alibaba to narrow things down. Then, he didn't just contact them, he interrogated 5 different suppliers with a list of detailed questions. From there, he ordered samples from his top 3 choices to check the quality himself. For the final contender, he hired a third party to conduct a full factory audit. And only then, after all that, did he make his final selection with total confidence.
And that right there is what success looks like. John's detective work got him exactly what we talked about at the very beginning: better pricing because he went direct, and consistent, high-quality products he could build a business on. That's the reward for doing your homework.
So there you have it. You now have the detective's toolkit. You know where to look, you know what questions to ask, and you know all the red flags to watch out for. The only question left is, who's going to be your first real factory partner? It's time to start your own investigation. Thanks for joining me.